Iran and Russia have moved quietly but decisively to transform the strategic landscape of the Persian Gulf by creating what analysts across the world are calling a new generation of air denial and control strategy referred to as No-Fly Zone 20. The development has stunned defense observers and altered the calculations of every major power operating in the region. For years, both nations have watched the presence of Western air fleets patrolling and monitoring their activities, and now, in a coordinated shift, they have established a network that effectively challenges that dominance. The system they have built combines advanced radar integration, air defense coverage, and electronic warfare, designed to track and deter any unauthorized aircraft movement across the key maritime and coastal zones near the Strait of Hormuz and beyond. This effort began months ago as Russian and Iranian defense planners met in closed-door sessions, finalizing plans for shared radar data and command synchronization. They have linked Russian-made S-400 and Iranian Bavar 373 missile systems to create a layered shield that covers hundreds of miles of airspace. Each radar unit now feeds data into a combined operations center established near Bandar Abbas on the southern coast of Iran, where Russian technicians and Iranian officers sit side by side, monitoring the skies in real time. The primary objective of this system is not only to detect but to deny access to any foreign aircraft that may attempt to gather intelligence or project power in the region. Military experts describe the system as a digital wall surrounding the Gulf. The No-Fly Zone 20 extends over international waters, but its precision and range give Iran and Russia the ability to identify and potentially engage any threat long before it approaches their borders. This new approach is seen as a hybrid between traditional anti-access area denial and modern information control. By integrating Russian satellite tracking and Iranian drone reconnaissance, they have created a network that functions almost autonomously and can adjust within seconds to aerial changes. Over the past year, both nations have increased the number of joint military drills in the Gulf, not merely as symbolic gestures, but as real tests of the new system. Russian warships have docked at Iranian ports more frequently than ever, while Iranian missile batteries have been repositioned to maximize coverage of maritime lanes. The cooperation between the two militaries has moved from limited tactical exchanges to full-scale operational integration. The deployment of mobile radar systems along with electronic jamming vehicles now makes it almost impossible for Western aircraft to fly. Undetected, Washington has expressed growing concern over this development. American defense officials say the No-Fly Zone 20 could threaten the freedom of navigation and surveillance in one of the most vital trade corridors in the world, the Strait of Hormuz, through which nearly a fifth of the global oil supply passes, is now monitored by an intricate grid of radars capable of tracking every flight pattern in real time. Western intelligence agencies believe that the radar signature mapping conducted by Russian aircraft in the region was the foundation upon which this new network was built. Meanwhile, Tehran insists that the network is defensive, claiming it is meant to protect trade routes and deter aggression. Iranian state media continues to frame the project as a response to years of Western intimidation and drone incursions. Officials highlight that Iran's air defense systems are designed for peace and stability, while accusing the West of spreading fear and misinformation. But independent observers note that the pattern of radar coverage and missile positioning clearly suggests a broader strategic intention. The network's reach extends beyond defensive necessity and into control of regional airspace for Russia. This cooperation is not only military, but also geopolitical. With sanctions and international pressure mounting, Moscow has turned to Tehran as a vital partner in challenging Western influence. The creation of No-Fly Zone 20 gives Russia a foothold in the Persian Gulf, a region it has long sought to influence, but could not directly control. Now, Through technology and coordination, it exerts indirect command over a zone critical to global trade, Russia's role in providing satellite data and command. Software has given the entire operation a level of sophistication far beyond what Iran could achieve alone. The United States and its allies are now studying the potential consequences of this shift. Military analysts warn that the new air defense system could complicate any future operations in the region, from reconnaissance to emergency response. If fully activated, the radar and missile shield could make it risky for even advanced stealth aircraft to fly near the Gulf without being detected and tracked. Some experts argue that this represents a soft closure of airspace without formally declaring a no-fly zone. It is a message to the world that the skies over the Gulf are no longer uncontested. Satellite images show large radar arrays, newly installed near key Iranian coastal cities. These arrays likely form part of the Russian-supplied resonance radar network, capable of detecting stealth aircraft and cruise missiles. This system, combined with Iran's indigenous long-range tracking units, creates a radar wall stretching from Bushehr to Chabahar, effectively closing the southern air corridor. The integration of data between Iranian and Russian satellites gives them early warning capacity against Western aircraft carriers or bomber groups moving through the region. Regional powers like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates are quietly observing these changes with caution. While they maintain close ties with the United States, they understand that the creation of this air defense network alters the military equation. Any future conflict in the Gulf now involves a direct risk of escalation with Russia due to its embedded presence in the Iranian defense structure. The Gulf Cooperation Council has held several emergency meetings to discuss the implications with NATO officials. The growing fear is that one miscalculation could trigger a chain reaction of military responses. In parallel, Russia and Iran have been conducting joint naval exercises not only to show strength, but to synchronize their electronic warfare capabilities. Russian EW ships stationed in the Gulf of Oman have been training Iranian crews in advanced signal interception and radar jamming. The ability to scramble communication frequencies and distort radar signatures adds another layer to the no-fly zone 20, making it even more difficult for adversaries to operate freely. This electronic dimension of warfare ensures that even if foreign aircraft manage to enter the region, they face significant challenges in maintaining communication and targeting accuracy. International reactions have been mixed. China has expressed quiet approval, seeing this cooperation as a stabilizing factor that could deter Western intervention. In the region, European nations, however, have raised alarms, warning that such militarization could endanger commercial air routes that pass over the Gulf. Airliners may soon have to reroute to avoid overlapping with the sensitive zones controlled by the new radar grid, causing economic and logistical complications. Within Iran, the announcement of the defense integration has been met with patriotic pride. State media outlets highlight that the country is now capable of standing shoulder to shoulder with a global power like Russia. This narrative strengthens domestic morale and projects the image of an Iran no longer isolated but empowered by strategic partnerships. Across Russian media, similar narratives portray the alliance as evidence of Moscow's continued influence despite Western sanctions. The image of unity between the two nations is being used to signal that multipolarity is not only alive but expanding behind the scenes. However, the creation of No-Fly Zone 20 also carries risks. The intense militarization of the Gulf region increases the possibility of accidental confrontations, with multiple nations operating drones, fighter jets, and surveillance equipment. The skies are becoming more congested. Any misinterpretation of radar data or false alarm could lead to escalation. Iran and Russia are aware of these risks, but seem determined to maintain their course, believing that deterrence will ensure stability rather than conflict. Economic interests are deeply tied To this military development, control over airspace directly influences control over trade routes. Oil tankers and cargo ships moving through the Gulf now operate under a new reality where their safety and passage may depend on maintaining communication with Iranian or Russian-controlled radar stations. Insurance rates for maritime traffic are already being adjusted to reflect the changing security environment. Shipping companies are recalculating routes while diplomats quietly negotiate safety protocols to avoid confrontation.